Hi friends, this is Bronwyn Scribbins here for Warehouse Crush Wednesday. This week I wanted to just briefly deconstruct the market report that you might have seen on your LinkedIn or in your email. These are often prepared by the kind of big brokerage houses such as CB, Cushman, Avison, JLL, and Colliers. Other brokers and other smaller firms who create market reports as well that analyze what's happening in the market on a quarterly basis, and it's usually separated by the type of asset as well as the city or the region or the area. For example, Edmonton Industrial Q3 2022, which is what I'm going to talk about. So when you're looking at these potentially 4 or 5 or 6 different market reports from all these different brokerage houses, A, why are the numbers different? And B, what do all the words mean within that market report? Because there are a few that got thrown out there and sometimes mean the same thing. Firstly, your inventory. Your inventory is the amount of square footage that is recorded by that research department within the city. So within Edmonton, certain companies would say that we're in the kind of 145 million square feet for industrial space. Others would go up to 165 million square feet. This just depends on what all areas are being included. For example, are you including all of the periphery markets? Are you including just the city? Are you including the city plus the big periphery markets? So that can account for some of the discrepancy. It also just depends on, it's human error and what's being accounted for by different groups. So the inventory or the total leasable area is your amount, your biosphere of space within your market. Then you'll have your vacancy rate or your vacant space. This is space that generally can be leased within 30 days or is vacant currently. That's what would count as your vacancy. Now for availability might be space that isn't even completed construction yet, or it might be space that's got a tenant in it, but isn't unoccupied. But availability rate is usually space that can be made available or will be available within the next 6-month period. Lastly, our absorption. Our absorption is space that has been rented and taken off the market in the last quarter or year or whatever time frame that may be. Things to keep in mind is some companies track sublease vacancy or sublease space under either the vacancy or under the availability. It depends again on the company or the report that you're using. I would say that in general, just kind of look at the same reports quarterly, the same company's reports quarterly, because then at least you're kind of comparing apples to apples and you can analyze the differences that way. The other thing to keep in mind is that sometimes the reports will dig deeper into the sub-markets within an area. So for Edmonton, you'll be able to analyze space that's in Northwest Edmonton, Southeast Edmonton, Niskayleduke, Atchison, Sherwood Park. These are kind of the sub-markets that the industrial space exists in. And so if you are new to the industry, the market reports are a great place to start to figure out kind of the broad view understanding of what is happening in that asset class in your market. I think that kind of explains some of the different attributes of these market reports. I will link different features and kind of dig into this further in my definition so it's easier to understand, but that's what all these companies are meaning when they kind of throw out vacancy, availability, absorption, inventory, etc. That's all for me this week. I'm Bronwyn Scribbins, and this is Warehouse Crush Wednesday from Edmonton, Alberta.